reporting to you live from 1991. I'm rewatching, or not rewatching, I've never seen them before. I'm watching the full 91 NBA Finals between the Lakers and the Chicago Bulls, and I'm watching Magic Johnson play against Michael Jordan, of course, and Magic's just throwing these stupid passes. He's just an insane passer, of course. Probably the greatest passer of all time, a lot of people would say, but I was checking out some other stats, and I'll get to it in a second here, but John Stockton was just an absolute dumbass, like in the best way possible. We'll get to his numbers in a second here, but it's just ridiculous. If you're not familiar with his numbers, I need to go back and watch some full Utah Jazz games so I can see this man actually at work, because you can look at numbers, it's only going to tell you so much until you actually watch the game, kind of see how a point guard orchestrates things and sets up their teammates, because watching Magic, he was just amazing at it. So it made me think back for my era. When I think of the greatest passers from my era, I probably think Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, LeBron's probably in there, Luca, James Harden. Even though LeBron and Harden aren't really point guards so much, they're primary scorers that are also just very good passers. Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, John Stockton, of course, these are guys you think about as really true primary point guards. Forgot Tyrese Halliburton. He's probably the most point guard in the NBA right now, if that makes sense. But going back, and I go back to Jason Kidd to kind of see how Jason Kidd's stats looked, because I kind of forgot. I knew he's a badass point guard, but just to see how his exact stats were kind of looking there. So it's really his prime right here. He's 25 years old, so right in his prime. Gives you 17 points a game, 11 assists, then 14 points per game, 10 assists, 17 and 10 basically, 15 and 10. And that's pretty much his peak, was those 4 years. Then he starts to come off a little bit, but not bad stats, of course. If you can give me a double double with points and assists, you'll pretty much take that all day. Even if you just give me 10 points and 10 assists, I can fit you into my team. I have a place to put a guy like that all day, of course. So I saw Jason Kidd's stats. I'm like, yeah, this guy was badass. I knew Jason Kidd was good. And again, I'm not really surprised by seeing these stats. If I just guess off the top of my head, I'd probably say, yeah, probably 17, 18 points a game and like 10 assists, 11 assists for his prime. So that's all good and it's impressive. That's solid numbers by Jason Kidd. Moving on, I went to Steve Nash, and I was thinking, man, I know Steve Nash was a badass. When I was younger, I would watch him play. I see the flashy passes. I think that's cool. But now I'm getting older and actually understanding more about orchestrating an offense and being a real point guard. I wanted to go back to see if Steve Nash's stats. It's kind of weird. He was 30 when he kind of peaked. That's when he started to come into his superpowers, but 15 and a half points and 11 and a half assists that season when he turned 30. The next season, basically 19 points and 10 and a half assists. Then he won the MVPs those 2 seasons. Kobe got robbed, Shaq got robbed, whoever you want to say got robbed, definitely got robbed, because I don't think he deserved those, to be totally honest. But let me know what you think. Then the next season, 18.6 and 11.6. And then the next season, 17 points and 11 assists. So basically those 4 seasons were Steve Nash's peak. It's weird he peaked from, basically 30 to 33. It's kind of a weird late peak to have, but if you ask me Steve Nash's numbers just without me looking, I'd probably guess something like this: 17 points and 11 assists or something like that. So again, his peak years, those 4 years, and he's basically averaging maybe 17 points and 10 assists. Again, which is really impressive. You can give me 17 points and 10 assists, I have a place to fit that guy in on pretty much every team there. Then we get to John Stockton stats. This dude was just an absolute dumbass out there in the best way possible. I never knew how ridiculous his stats were, but even that, just looking at that, I knew he would get a lot of steals, but 3 steals, 3.2, 2.7, 3, 3. I know he was steals champ multiple times, but just dumbass numbers, honestly. 14.7 points, 13.8 assists, 17 points, 13 and a half assists, 17 points, 14 and a half assists. That's just so stupid to average 17 points and essentially 15 assists. Just to average 15 assists is just so dumb. If anybody can get close to this, I'd say it's Tyrese Halliburton, but I can't even think of any time in the near future of the NBA we'll see somebody average 14 and a half assists. That's just so stupid and impressive. What I'll say about Stockton now a lot of the assists are going out to three-point shooters and going out for longer jumpers, where back in these days, that was the 89 season. Stockton's passing, a lot of his passes are coming off the pick and roll, and he's passing the ball to a terrible human being that we won't name. Y'all know who I'm talking about, but people would say that was kind of the most lethal pick and roll in NBA history between Stockton, that horrible man we won't name. So when I compare the games, Magic, John Stockton, some of these older guards and their assist numbers, I don't know what to think. Like, comment below what y'all think, but I don't know if I should think it was easier to get assists back then because the floor was more clogged. So you think the passing lanes are more clogged. It's going to be harder to find open passing lanes. You don't have two guys spotted up on the corner where you can pass it out to either corner for an open three ball. So, my point is that John Stockton just passing, I feel like a lot of his passes are just right down low for that terrible man to dunk or lay the ball up, or to his teammates just for those easier shots in the paint, because teams were taking a lot more of their shots in the paint. And I guess it's fair to say shot selection was better back then. No one's taking triple step back threes. If you did, your coach is going to have you sit down next to him for a second. But again, his numbers just freaking stupid. 14 and 14 basically, 17 and 13 and a half. That's just so dumb. 17 and 14 and a half assists. You can basically just round it up to the 15. So 17 points and 15 assists. Again, I can't think of Tyrese Halliburton would, I guess, be the guy, but I do not think he's going to average over 14 assists for a season. Just to be honest, like, I don't really see that happening. It's just such an insane number. In the next season, 17 points and 14 assists. So basically, three seasons in a row, he basically gave you 17 points and 14 assists. Then the next season, he fell off, only 16 points and 14 assists again with the 3 steals. He's always up there in the steals as well. I need to go back and watch some full John Stockton games and some full John Stockton footage, but it just keeps going, dude. Even when he came down, it's 15 points and 12 assists, 15 points and 12 and a half, 14 points and 12 assists, 14 points and 11 assists. They're just the most impressive numbers I've ever seen from a point guard. And again, I've seen some John Stockton highlights, but I don't like to go off highlights. You got to go watch the full games, of course, to really appreciate, what a point guard does and just what a player does in general. But what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, let's just go with 10. Let's throw that 14 and 10 and a half in there. But basically 10 seasons in a row where he's probably averaging something like 15 points and 12 and a half, 13 assists. It's just fucking ridiculous, honestly. That's so impressive for Stockton. If you got to watch Stockton live, or if you watch some of his full games, comment below what you think about Stockton. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 50 subscribers, but I was just going over his numbers just a second ago, and I was like, this is so ridiculous. I can't even honestly fathom what that looks like to be getting all those assists and be setting up your teammates in that way. Again, I'm going to go back and watch some of these full games so I can, see these full games and really appreciate what he was doing more. But, I've heard John Stockton's name in the conversations for the greatest point guard of all time. I think a lot of people like to put Magic over him, but seeing these numbers, almost don't see how you could. These are just so insane. That 10-year peak is, I can't think of any point guard to put that up next to. I guess you could try to put Magic in there, but I feel like just as far as the points and assist numbers go, I don't think that Magic's are more impressive than Stockton, just to be totally honest. Then you get into the rebounding, and Magic can defend 1 through 4, 1 through 5. So once you start checking those boxes off, you might like Magic better. But just as a scorer and a playmaker, these are the most impressive numbers I've ever seen in the assist column. But please comment below if you saw John Stockton live. Let me know what you think. And I'm right behind you to watch some of these full games and see what I think about Stockton in these full Utah Jazz games. We'll see y'all next time.